Someone on that foot, please. Right, look, I'm going to follow you now, right? You hear that? Yeah. Run down. Coming up after. This is coming from Darlington.
Hi, my name is Rob. We're here in Dartford, blocking the Amazon warehouse. You can see the beautiful blockade behind us, and that it's caused the disruption. Just to be clear, we're not here to disrupt Amazon workers. We are sorry for those who are disrupted, but it's really important on this day, Black Friday, that we send this message. It's got to stop.
We're here outside the Amazon distribution centre in Peterborough. I'm at the base of one of our beacons, which is disrupting Amazon Prime deliveries today on Black Friday, one of their busiest days. I'm here because Amazon is responsible for a huge amount of planetary destruction. Consumerism is destroying our planet, and Amazon have a massive role to play in that. They're exploitative, and yeah, I want to shut that down.
Very good morning. Here we are in Tilbury, Essex, at one of the biggest Amazon distribution fulfilment centres in the UK, the second biggest in Europe. And here we have Daisy, who's going to tell us exactly why we're here.
We're here today on Black Friday to call attention to one of the world's largest companies and its exploitative and environmentally destructive business practices. Amazon is well known for a long list of crimes that have made its founder and largest shareholder, Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world. COP26 has recently just come and passed and failed, as we knew it would, because it failed to address the wider economic system that is built on, mining this country's resources for infinite financial growth. You can't have infinite growth on a planet of finite resources. It's impossible. So we're here today to call attention to Amazon and other companies like it as an example of this wider economic system that has to be stopped.
So we're here outside the Tilbury Fulfilment Centre, Amazon's largest fulfilment centre in the UK. As we speak, there are rebels blockading the following sites: Doncaster, Darlington, Newcastle, Manchester, Peterborough, Derby, Coventry, Rugeley, Dartford, Bristol, Milton Keynes, and all the way up in Dunfermline. That is 13 of the biggest fulfilment centres in the UK being blockaded right now on Black Friday, the biggest day of the year for that man, Jeff Bezos, to make billions of quid selling stuff and exploiting his workers, doing long shifts, not being able to sit down, not being able to listen to music. That's how he makes his money. That's how he makes his money. And today we're going to stand up and say, that's enough, Bezos, that is enough. Enough of your rocketing off on your ship. Enough of your billions of pounds, enough of your exploitation. It's time to change that. It's time to stand up and make sure that ordinary people can have a decent job and a decent life on a planet that isn't on fire. That is why we're here.
Well, a very good morning, everybody, and here we are from a very wet and cold Tilbury Fulfilment Centre. As you just heard, we managed to successfully block 30 fulfilment centres in the UK, in Germany. Absolutely epic. Yeah, absolutely epic. Sorry, it's a little bit windy down here. I hope you can hear me okay, but yeah, absolutely sterling effort from the activists this morning. I'm just going to give you a pan second. So yeah, here we are at the Tilbury site, which is the biggest in the UK and the second biggest in Europe, exposing the crimes of Amazon today. We heard from Daisy earlier, and I'm just going to cover a little bit of the crimes that Amazon are so far committed that we're aware of. The company basically said that they emitted 60 million tonnes of carbon dioxide last year, which is equivalent to a medium-sized country, similar size of Denmark, for instance. And not only does Amazon emit more carbon emissions than a country the size of Denmark, but it's actively helping fossil fuel companies like Shell, Exxon, and BP to drill for more oil via the Amazon Web Services. And of course, the science is telling us we need to rapidly decarbonise, and the Amazon continues to lobby the US government and continues to commit these crimes. So here we have Jeff Bezos up on top of his rocket there, and Jeff Bezos actually has insulted us by pledging $10 billion towards the climate crisis. In actual fact, he had $10 billion in one day, one single day at the peak of the pandemic. On the same day, 6,500 people in the UK lost their lives, and now he thinks he's achieving something for humanity by taking his brother off into space on his big rocket there and promoting space tourism. Just one of those flights in his rocket is a 100 or 200 commercial flights in an airline. It's absolutely shocking. So yeah, the message here to Extinction and beyond. Jeff's looking pretty wet and cold up there, but yeah, I hope he's feeling pressure this morning from the courageous activists that we're seeing up and down the country and indeed in Europe. And yeah, the message here really, Black Friday exploits people on planet, not just the people the people of Earth, but also very much their own workforce. In fact, there's from this unit alone, there's roughly about one ambulance that comes here every week, and across the network there's about 5 ambulances a week being called out to their staff who are exhausted, underpaid, and work to the very limit. So they've all been sent, the lorry drivers that we've blocked up at the top here, the north side, they've been sent to a hotel, and we've ensured that all of the fulfilment centres are employed staff as well. So they will be getting paid today. We're going to talk to a couple of activists down here on the ground this morning. Hi, how you doing? How's things, and what brought you to the action here this morning?
Yeah, well, they're as good as can be, I guess.
Nice and loud. Yeah.
Yeah, and a bit cold, but we're alright. We're going to be looked after. So we're here to protect against Amazon, who's destructing, destroying the planet with its practices like creating huge emissions from the production of shit products that it's selling, and also shipping it everywhere. And I guess it feels personal to me. I've got a young child, and also protects our families. And most children don't need shit products being, gifted to them. They just need a livable planet, and Jeff doesn't get that. And yeah, it's just like really heartbreaking. So we're here to make the point today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your courage. And we're hearing that the actual software, the formula that they use in Amazon essentially just makes people buy things that they don't need. And we live in this culture that there's millions of products each year just being disposed of, incinerated, that aren't even being used. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's just disgusting. It's just like terrible. It's just so easy, like blame people because it's so easy and like it's so attractive as well. And it's just like short-term happiness. It's just like stealing people's money just to put it in Jeff Bezos' pocket so that he can ship himself to space. And I wouldn't mind if he was staying there, like really. But this is just like obscene amount of money being spent on this like little hobby when really he could be doing like a lot more and starting with like changing his own business model really.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much. We're going to speak to the other activists
Thank
now. Thank you for your courage. Hi, how you doing? I'm just going to come over this way because of the wind. If you could speak nice and loudly, please. So, what inspired you to take action today? Thank you so much.
That's all right. My kids, I have a 16-year-old and a 26-year-old boy and a 22-year-old daughter. I just want that they have a good future. Everybody's children have a good future, and hopefully my grandchildren too. And I can't stand the fact that people like Jeff Bezos have earned like £1 billion in the last year, and they can't use empathy to try and save this planet for our future, and that's why I'm here.
Thank you. And yeah, the injustice is absolutely rife, and of course the governments of the world are facilitating this injustice by allowing Amazon to have offshore tax havens and avoid paying tax when he's already one of the richest people on this planet. How does that make you feel?
I think he's the richest, and also, I mean, the global majority, the countries in the global majority are the ones that are already suffering and suffer even more. And I think, change is happening now, so we should be acting now, and that's why I've taken this extreme decision to lie here and be knocked on, because I just can't stand it anymore. I want someone to do something.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your courage, and thanks for everything you're doing. Okay. Oops. So there you go. Two of our activists down in biscuits on this very wet, cold, and windy morning here down at Tilbury. We have another site down to the south where we're ensuring the workers are getting in and out, and we're now going to be going over to some of the other sites, so do stay with us, and if you've got any questions, then please do pop them in the chat. We'll try and get those answered for you, but do like and share. Make sure this message gets out, this epic action this morning with 15 sites in total being blocked against this giant that is Amazon.
And hi everyone. I am Coati, and I'm joining you from Peterborough, where I'm with rebels from the east of England, where we have shut down one of the largest fulfilment centres in the UK, and a tour of our site. Might spread out of the you see here. You can see our treble under my feet. And I look a little bit further along the way, you can just about make out our two beacons, which I'll get you a bit closer to those in a moment. And I'm in the middle of the road because the police have closed off the road, and they've closed off the entire industrial estate. In fact, they're letting occasional vehicles through. And what we're doing here today is we are saying, no, we're fed up of Amazon destroying the planet. It's egregious crimes against our environment. Amazon last year emitted 60.6 million tons of dioxide into the atmosphere. That's equivalent to the emissions of the country Denmark, and that's just one company, one multinational nation. Its emissions are growing as well. They went up by nearly a fifth last year. So that's one of the key reasons why we're here. We're also here because of their appalling record on workers' rights. And since 2018, over 900 ambulance call-outs. A few in last month, in fact, at the Fulfilment Centre. And not only the appalling record on workers' rights, they also are tax dodgers and evades its tax, and it's enabled to do so by governments around the world while it relies on their infrastructure in order to generate huge profits at the expense of its workers, people. And now I'm going to just head over to introduce you to some of our brave rebels who are locked on underneath the tripod here. So we've got a rebel here. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Just wondered if I could have a quick live stream just to find out what you're doing here this morning and why you wanted to be here.
Why here? Because companies like Amazon need to be shut down. In fact, there's lots of companies, oil and so on, but today it's Amazon's turn. When you consider that they've got a larger carbon footprint than a country the size of Denmark, wrong to end. And when we have a government who just had the COP26 talks and failed completely to do anything. In fact, they're going to continue to drill oil, mine coal. If the government aren't going to stop it, then we've got to.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for all you're doing. Thank you to our brave.
Hello, we're live streaming from Gateshead, Newcastle. So we're here at the Amazon Fulfilment Centre. This is one of the sites. So the other one is on the other side, so you can't really see it. But do you want to say hello? We'll go around everyone locked on here at the bottom. Give us a wave. You don't have to. And here up at the top. So we've just had our breakfast from our amazing wellbeing people, and we're all in a really good mood. And so, do you want to say anything about what we're doing and why?
Yeah, so we're here on Black Friday at Amazon just to kind of speak out about the whole just crazy amounts of consumption that we're kind of caught in, that cycle of buying stuff which we definitely don't need. It's just generating a whole load of carbon that we definitely don't need. And Amazon kind of symbolises that, don't they? Just encouraging us to get trapped in that cycle that the planet definitely can't afford.
Yeah, cool. I think that's everything from us, so we'll pass it over to the next site. Woo!
Hello, welcome to Milton Keynes site, where where we arrived at 4 o'clock this morning. We've got two teams, one on either side of the building, and we've got some beautiful rebels locked on with some wonderful Amazon crime lock-on devices. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get near the lock-ons at the moment because the police have forbidden me from going on location. It looks like this police vehicle over here that you can see is the removal team, so we might be the first site to have a removal team visit us, as far as I've seen. But scenes here are wet and windy and damp, but spirits are high, and there's a reasonable police presence, and we've had quite a lot of local press come and visit us and ask lots and lots of questions. So really grateful for the support from local press in helping us to expose Amazon's crimes. The reason that we're here today is because Amazon are one of the most destructive companies on the planet. They emit 60 million tons of CO2 last year, which is as much as a country the size of Denmark, as you've heard. And the workers' conditions are horrific to boot. We've read reports of 600 calls within 3 years to the ambulance service just to come to Amazon sites. Meanwhile, the company doesn't pay tax here in the UK because they channel their money through to other offshore countries so that they can avoid paying tax. So not only are they not paying into our system, paying into our welfare system, but they're then exploiting that system through horrific workers' conditions, which lead to injury and all kinds of other ailments. I'm just going to take you over to speak with one of our rebels who is slightly off-site, just so that he can come and talk to us a little bit about why he's here. So I'll just move over. So if I can pass you this. There we go. Talking into that bit there.
Yep.
Would you like to let us know why you're here today?
Well, I'm here today to protest in rebellion about the devastation that Amazon is causing to the planet. They spend millions of pounds persuading us to buy things that we don't really need. There's a huge amount of buyer's regret after Black Friday, for example, because people end up buying stuff that they think is a bargain and then realise actually doesn't satisfy. And we are causing huge amounts of pollution, manufacturing products that we don't really need. Sorry, do you want me to?
No, you just carry on. I'm just conscious of the vehicle approaching.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we've got to break this addiction to buying stuff. We really have. People think, oh, it's not doing any harm. It's just a little bit of plastic tap from China. It doesn't cost very much, but it brings me joy, and so I'll buy it. Not thinking about all of the damage that's being done to the planet. And my heart bleeds for people in Madagascar who are starving to death right now because they can't grow their crops. They haven't had any rain for 4 years because of climate change. And we're doing that. We're doing that with buying stuff that we don't need, wasting resources. We've got to take a good hard look at ourselves and get serious about cutting back on buying stuff and making stuff.
Thank you so much, and I think there's a lot to take from that. Yeah, I think there's a lot to take from that, and there are going to inevitably be some critics who'll say that we hate Christmas or we're trying to ruin Christmas, and that's obviously not the case. We love Christmas as much as the next people, but what we'd like to see is 50, 100, 200 more Christmases in the future for our grandchildren and for the generations yet to come. And I think it's just very telling of a society that's completely inside out, because we have an economy that serves our environment when in reality it should be the other way around. We should have we have an economy that disrupts our environment to make profit when it should be the other way around, and we should have an economy that serves our environment and sustains it. So it's just Amazon is a prime example of the kind of company that is using this environmental destruction and this complete lack of welfare for their employees in a complete disregard for people and planet, and just in perpetual pursuit of profit on a finite planet where they're trying to reach infinite growth. And some might say, well, Bezos has done his part. He's given X billion to, or he's pledged X billion at least to try and help the environment. But the reality of that is that Jeff Bezos is just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. The Titanic is sinking, the Amazon workers are scrambling around in the engine room, and then the rest of us are calling for lifeboats to come and save us. And what we need is a Dunkirk style of rescue mission whereby everyone gets on board and says, you know what, we are going to do something about this. We are going to make Amazon pay. We are going to improve quality of life for those on the lowest incomes, and we are going to protect our environment at all costs. So that's why we're here today, and we're going to be here all day long in solidarity with campaigns across the world, campaigns across Europe, and rebels across the UK at 13 other sites. So I'm sure you're desperate to go and visit some other sites, and I'm looking forward to seeing the updates from all of the other local sites. So I'll pass you on now.
Hello, and this is Miami, and I'm in Avonmouth near Bristol, outside the Amazon distribution centre here, and we have also blocked 2 gates, north and south, entrance and exit to the Amazon distribution centre. You can see people just taking some refuge from the weather, although we're just starting to see the end of that now. But it's hard work for our rebels, you know, locked on, up the tripods, and it's worth it. It's worth it because Amazon are such a prime example of what is wrong with our whole economic system and the global extractivist system. Amazon, has been talked about so many times already, pollute more than many single countries, the likes of Israel or Denmark or Norway. But it's beyond that. Their whole model of business that started decades ago has been created on loss leading to dominate a market, to push normal businesses out of competition. No one can compete with these behemoths. And they use that grasp on capital to basically keep us all down, to drive down workers' rights standards, to drive down expectations that they pay their taxes and just contribute like the rest of us. They drive down expectations on what needs to be done about the climate crisis, and instead throw us little tidbits. Oh, here, have your £2 billion. We don't want your philanthropy. We want you, Jeff Bezos, to pay your taxes and sort out your emissions. That's really what it comes down to. I'm going to take you around, speak to some of the other people here. David, would you like to say a word?
Wow. I'm just putting a wet sleeping bag in,
really important.
In another bag so we can dry it out later. Okay. But
that's about Amazon.
So obviously we're outside Amazon on Black Friday because Amazon's business practices are exploiting people and exploiting the planet. Like this is happening. 2 things, the same thing. Our economic system is built around the exploitation of people or the environment, and this is what we need to change. And it's going to change. Both things can change, and both things must change together.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely linked, isn't it? Like our rights and the climate. As the climate crisis worsens, we can all see ourselves losing our rights in a race to the bottom. And it's been really apparent here today. Actually, one of the best things about today's action was about 5 o'clock, an hour after we started blocking the gate here. Amazon employees started coming down the road, And almost every single one of them had fist out, pumped. They were cheering us on. It was fantastic, and I think they really recognised that we're here in solidarity with them as well. That we're looking for a just transition. I think we explained ourselves well to them, and we saw them actually show their appreciation. Not everyone, of course. There's some people upset, and I think that also told the story was that some of the people who were most upset were some of the people who were coming, who were self-employed. So we've particularly targeted certain distribution centres because the people who work in these specific ones are generally contracted. So we're not going to cause as much harm to those people working there. But the odd people who came who were just working for themselves, well, for them, this was a huge amount of anxiety. They're stopped from coming into work, from being able to earn money, and it actually shows really the problems that are throughout Amazon's supply chain. Finally, I used to work for a finance company, and we were about to take on a big client. They were a courier company, and most of their work came through Amazon. And unfortunately, our deal never went through. We never did the tax returns for that company. The company went bust. The reason was that the owner, who subcontracted work out to couriers, was told by Amazon to lower his prices, basically lower than he could afford to actually feed people with. So the company just had to give up because they simply weren't able to do business with Amazon at a level that could put food on the table for families. And because Amazon had dominated so much of the market and so much of their own business, they had no other choice. They are predatory, horrible company. Everyone should be boycotting them. That's all I have to say. I'd like to pass on to the next place and see what's going on around the rest of the country. Yeah, and maybe around the world. I don't know.
Cool. Hey everyone, I'm coming to you from a Coventry that has recently stopped raining, so just in time for me to come live with you. Yeah, we're here at the distribution centre in Coventry. As you can see, we've got a couple of beacons, some biscuits down there, blocking the only entrance and exit at this site for lorries and preventing them from getting anything out today. I'm Lynx, I'm 22, I'm a young person, and I just thought I'd maybe tell you about why I'm personally here today. It's my future that's on the line for companies like Amazon with their model of growth that's infinite on a planet with finite resources, that is exploiting the environment, exploiting their workers, exploiting animals, and just set up to make a small elite rich and keep everyone else bearing the brunt of the worst effects of climate breakdown and worker rights abuse. So yeah, essentially that's why we're here today, why I'm here today personally. It's stealing my future. And yeah, exactly that. It's just as everyone has said so far, Amazon produces about the same amount of carbon emissions as a medium-sized country like Denmark, and those numbers are only increasing between 15 and 19% a year for the last 3 years. Amazon's carbon emissions have been increasing, so there's no sign of them abating. And just one point about this supposed 10 billion that Jeff Bezos has in his Earth Fund for Amazon's net zero and other projects that undoubtedly will exploit the natural world and exploit indigenous people across the planet, all of whom we do stand in solidarity with, that it does have nothing at all about Amazon's supply chain, which makes up 75% of their carbon emissions. Nothing at all in their carbon zero pledge deals with that at all. So things like their electric vehicle fleet is just a front, it's just greenwashing. So yeah, that is why we need to make Amazon pay for the crimes they're committing against the planet and their workers, and just to extend a massive solidarity with the rest of the Extinction Rebellion actions today and the rest of the actions being taken against Amazon. So yeah, as you can see, we're all nicely set up here. The rebels have bared the brunt of the bad weather, and they're laughing, they're smiling through it, they're loving life. And I'm going to take you to one of them locked on now, just so they can tell you exactly why they're personally here and what their story is. So if we could just go to our rebel down here, speak into here and just tell me why you're personally here today.
Hi, my name is Orla. I'm here because I'm terrified of the climate crisis. COP's just finished, and it's been an absolute disaster. I'm here asking Amazon and massive corporations, massive leaders like Jeff Bezos to start making a change, start taking a stand for the climate. We're running out of time. I'm just asking Jeff Bezos to put people and planet before profit.
Yeah, exactly. You can see here another young person who is absolutely terrified about the future that awaits them if companies like Amazon keep acting the way they do and keep propagating their business model of infinite growth on a finite planet. There's just absolutely no way our planet can support that. So we, the young people here, amongst everyone else, everyone who's got children, everyone who's got grandchildren, who might not even live to see 2045, 2050, when we're projected to have 1 billion climate refugees. And it's not just the future, it's the worst affected regions on the planet are the ones that have nothing to do with this, that are being mercilessly exploited by companies like Amazon, by governments like the British government. So that is why we are here today as part of this massive Extinction Rebellion action to force Jeff Bezos, the largest shareholder of Amazon, and Amazon as a company, to acknowledge and act on the climate crisis. And with that being said, I will get ready to pass you over to the next site so we can see what other wonderful and brilliant stuff Rebels have been getting up to.
Hello, we're here in Dunfermline in north of Edinburgh, where we, Extinction Rebellion Scotland, have blockaded the biggest distribution centre in the United Kingdom, alongside 12 other distribution centres around the UK. So yeah, I'm going to kind of walk you guys through around our site. And here we can talk to one of our rebels who is locked on, and ask him why he's doing this. Hello. Hi, can I just ask you why you're here? Why do you think this is important? Why are you locked on in front of the distribution center today?
So I'm John. John was a former history teacher, and I'm locked on here because I feel that Amazon represents all that's wrong with the way things are done at the moment. They are an exploitative capitalist entity that takes advantage of their workforce, pays them badly, treats them badly, even has them surveyed and surveillanced to make sure that they're not stepping out of line. No trade unions are allowed. And of course, also the impact that they have on the environment, their policies in terms of encouraging people to consume more and more and more in very wasteful ways, which is destroying the environment. And they also have very negative policies in terms of putting carbon into the atmosphere because of this emphasis on the constant expansion of their business all the time and the expansion of the economy. They refuse to reduce their carbon emissions in absolute terms and instead use a carbon intensity measure, which allows them to actually increase the amount of carbon they put in the atmosphere just because they're also using fossil fuels, just because they're also using renewables as well to add to the mix. And so they can say, well, actually, we're going greener, when in fact they're just making the matter worse. And of course, you know, with Mr. Bezos flying into space, that highlights the idiocy of the situation where you have a workforce on minimal or low wages. You have people in our country who are going to food banks and who are suffering the rigors of universal credit. And yet this man thinks going into space is just the most important thing to do, which is obviously bonkers as far as I'm concerned. And it shows how much really things need to change. This wealth inequality, this climate crisis, this ecological crisis we face are all epitomized in what Amazon is doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that, and good luck. yeah, I'm gonna kind of walk around here. As you can see, we're blocking the main access road, so lorries cannot get in, disrupting their delivery services today. Excuse me, can I just ask you, why are you here today, and why is this issue important to you?
Oh, I've come here today because Black Friday is just the most awful consumerist idea where people are almost forced into buying things that they don't want. And Amazon really pushes that. So this is about rampant consumerism, which is obviously driving the climate catastrophe. The amount of waste that's involved in this, so people returning things that then just get skipped. And alongside that, Amazon treat their workers quite appallingly. We've spoken to quite a few of the workers today while we've been here, and they've got some pretty bad stories to tell. They're obviously not a very popular employer, and I think when you're making that amount of money, so much money that you think you can move to space, which is clearly a deluded idea, I think you could afford to pay your workers a bit more and improve their conditions. So we're really sorry that we've inconvenienced a few people today, and I hate stopping these truck drivers who have had a really long drive through the night and all they're doing is a job, and they're bringing stuff that a lot of it people will need, and it breaks my heart to have to stop them. But it's one day, it's such an important issue. Really sorry, but we just have to do this.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Rob, and we are here at the Dartford site of the Amazon blockade. So here we are at the Dartford crossing. Here's the sort of line of lorries that haven't been able to make their deliveries, and they've turned up and now parked up here. And here we are, the richest 10% produce 50% of global emissions. Here's the blockade, you can see it here. And our great team, a brilliant wellbeing team. We've been here since about 6, since about 4 in the morning, but it's been getting light since about 6, and it's been slowly getting warmer with that, which is nice. It was a really chilly night, as you can see. Everyone's in their bags, and quite uneventful actually. We had, obviously, the police have come around and been looking around, but apart from that, not too much has been going on, apart from the disruption to the lorries there. We had one lorry driver who's really upset and felt that we were targeting the wrong people and targeting him. But we had a great conversation. We explained that we were not just targeting him at this site. He was sort of more upset that he felt that we weren't doing anything, we weren't achieving anything by being here. Here's another delivery. He was more upset that we weren't going to achieve anything by us being here, and it was only going to harass him. But when we explained that actually this action was happening across the UK and in Europe and at the head office, and that we were really making efforts to make Amazon pay, that he began to come around and see it, but at the same time made some really valid points about Amazon as well as protester, about how he's being penalised for this late delivery. They get subject to automatic fines if they are late. So this is just another way in which these incredibly high profits are extracted, another incentive. And if you imagine that sort of profit motive, that whether it's fining for being late or simply just you need to pay back your high interest credit, which you're getting in order to expand and build more and more Amazon warehouses, because even Amazon will be taking money out. When you do that, you need to come up with more and more extractive and exploitative ways of increasing your profit margin, and that's why the oceans are being trawled and the Amazon rainforest and all the trees are being felled. It's to pay back on that paradigm. So we're here. Amazon is to an extent just a symptom of that that we've created, and there's a lot of work that needs to go into taking the system down. But it really does begin with making Amazon pay, and that's why we're here. So this is me, Rob, signing off this morning from Dartford.
Well, hello there and welcome back to Tilbury in Essex, just round the corner from Tilbury Docks. Of course, my name's Todd and, I just wanted to say, if you're just joining us, we are here and there's 13 UK fulfilment and distribution centres that have been blocked, as well as one in the Netherlands and one in Germany. And, we're here not because we want to be, it's wet and it's cold, but the reality is COP26 has just failed, and the failure of COP26 is ultimately primarily because we have an economic system which it relies entirely on infinite growth, and Amazon is a symbol, pinnacle of that system, and the injustice, of course, of how Jeff Bezos and other billionaires can double or make so much more money during the pandemic. Also a huge solidarity to GMB Union this morning, who are actually protesting for the workers, standing up for the workers' rights who are directly impacted by the effects of this destructive company. They're down at the headquarters in London this morning. So I guess you might be wondering a little bit about, well, what is the solution? We've talked a lot about the problem, and we're at this critical moment where Sir David King, the former chief scientific advisor, says what we do in the next 3 or 4 years will determine the fate of humanity. We're acutely aware that GDP growth and chasing endless, infinite growth on a planet with finite resources is quite frankly embarrassing. It's destroying the lives of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people around the world already just at 1.2 degrees. And we're well on track to exceed the Paris Agreement. There's less than a 1% chance of hitting 1.5 degrees now. So a new political economy, something like what Caroline Lucas has tabled, where GDP is not the key metric. We have a complex system, complex enough system now where we can measure, health and well-being and these different indicators. And of course, at Extinction Rebellion, our primary purpose is to tell people the truth, expose the reality of this greenwash and companies like Amazon. We need to act urgently, as the mainstream science is saying. And we also campaign for a true democracy, a real democracy, because what we have at the moment is not serving us. It's only serving the corporations that are now been hijacked. The states have been hijacked by the corporations. So we have to come out here and do this non-violent direct action, this peaceful protest. So I'm going to be going around and speaking to a couple more of the activists to learn why they've taken the action today, and they're ultimately risking their liberty at a time when the UK government are clamping down on peaceful protesters, and we're ultimately just trying to defend the lives of our own lives and our own generation in this country, but very much the people on the front lines right now, the indigenous communities that have no say, that have no seat at the table in these negotiations, and companies like Amazon, they can't value the health and well-being of the planet or people. They sheerly just they create profit, and that's exactly what they're doing. So camera around, see some of the police, a few of the main local police, I guess, have left now, and we're left with some more tactical guys coming in. So there we have Jeff Bezos on his rocket, and it's just absolutely ridiculous that at this critical moment for humanity, he's going off, taking his brother to space, earned off the backs of the workers he's exploiting and the destruction of our home. We are all capable of change, and we need to think radically in this moment. We all need to come together. Myself, a former airline pilot, once I fully understood the science, it was no question for me. I had to do all that I can, and we are responsible to make sure this message gets out and to demand better, because we deserve better. And anything is possible when the people stand together, united. So the message there, reading Black Friday exploits people on planet. We're just going to try and speak to the activists up on top of the van. So bear with us 1 second, and we'll see if they've got a megaphone. Hi, how you doing up there?
Yeah, not bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. So what brings you, what inspired you to take this action this morning?
Yeah, well, I was inspired by hearing stories of the corporation of Amazon, the way it spies on its workers, the way it treats its workers. I've got personal friends who've worked at Amazon, and they recounted, 10, 12-hour shifts, not being allowed to sit down, not being allowed to listen to music. And the amount of ambulance call-outs to get to their warehouses is horrific. It's in the hundreds every year. So that inspired me, that kind of the treatment that they have for their staff. And then just how this plays into this whole system, right? It's an incredibly polluting corporation as well. And those things go together. The way that it exploits both the planet and the people that work for it and the rest of humanity is just one and the same, right? It's a big machine that makes money for men like Jeff Bezos so they can jet off to space in their rockets. And that just epitomizes the system that we live in. And I think Amazon stands for all of that. And today we want to fight back against that.
Thank you. Yes, I actually had a first-hand experience. I applied for a job as an Amazon delivery driver in the peak of the pandemic when everyone was so desperate, and the manager there was basically using their fastest driver to teach up the newcomers to just get them out, delivering as many parcels, working them to the absolute limit, and the pay was exactly the same, but that pressure was immense. So I really felt that, and I can only imagine what it's like, spending the time, as we've heard, all of the ambulance calls. I think there's 300 since 2018 and 2020. So it's just disgusting. And what do you see? What would you like? If you could tell people listening at home for them to do now, how could they get involved and make sure that people understand this message?
Well, very easy steps. Immediately cancel your Amazon Prime membership if you have one. That goes without saying. You can also you can join Extinction Rebellion. You can join more protests like this. You can come along down. We're blockading 13 sites across the UK. You're bound to live pretty close to one of them. So come on down, join, bring food, bring good vibes, and just help out this protest and this really important statement against a very, very messed up system. Play your part in it.
Brilliant, thank you. Would you like to say anything?
Hello.
Hey. So again, just what inspired you to come out today, and what was the turning point?
Yeah, I think for me, Amazon kind of embodies so many different kind of intersections of what we cannot continue doing if we want to alleviate not just the climate crisis, but the crisis of mass wealth inequality, of mass, workers not having access to the rights that they deserve, to the unions that they deserve. And even like today, a lot of independent businesses are boycotting Black Friday because Amazon just has a monopoly on the market, and so many businesses that have been really struggling during COVID and in general of this kind of, this kind of recent wave of in the past, decade of mass online shopping has pushed so many customers towards these cheaper, more convenient alternatives like Amazon has really just impacted so many independent businesses on such a negative way. And so kind of standing in solidarity with them, with workers, with kind of the underdogs that just have less and less of a voice in this system that continues to benefit the few, and through benefiting the few, continues to exploit the planet. And so for me, it's just really bridging these intersections between the climate crisis, between, billionaire mass wealth inequality, and all these kind of things that a lot of people, or maybe common perceptions have been that they are independent from one another. And I just really want to draw the fact that they're all really intertwined. And we talk about this system and what does this mean? And it's kind of hard to unpack, but it really is this accumulation of so many aspects of our society that essentially contribute to different crises at the same time. And I think Amazon doesn't just symbolize this, it embodies it. And it from the way that it treats its workers to the way that wealth is not distributed between the shareholders and the warehouse workers. I just think that need to be calling them out. And yeah, if you can cancel your Amazon Prime, please do. And yeah, just think about where we're putting our money and where we want to support.
Brilliant, thank you. Thanks so much for your courage and thanks for taking action today. And well, there you go. I'm just going to give you a little pan round. We've got activists still on the ground here, and of course, the activist there was talking about the monopoly. And of course, Amazon, they not only sell masses of products that people don't need, but if a company, a small company, is selling something on their platform, they'll look to replicate them, and they can undercut them in price, of course, because they have offshore tax havens, which our government, along with many other governments around the world, facilitate, because these people are so powerful. So we are going to cut now over to Darlington, where we have an activist up a beacon, I believe, and hopefully we can hear from them. So thanks for tuning in, and yeah, please do comment, like I said earlier, if you've got any questions, and we'll try to get those answered for you. Cheers.
So in Darlington, the angle's a bit funny because we're up a beacon and it's kind of slightly windy. But I'm going to interview my friend. So we doing right now?
Well, we're in Darlington.
Can you hear?
Ooh. We're in Tilbury, and we're outside.
Okay.
500 square feet, and we're here with this lovely bamboo beacon locked on below. Yeah, we've been here since about 20 past 4 this morning. So around UK and abroad right now is to say no to toxic consumerism and overconsumption that Amazon promotes and facilitates, and to say no to millionaire Jeff Bezos that profit out of the destruction of the planet and the exploitation of people, and especially their workers. Was in the mix, emitted about 60 million tons of carbon dioxide in 2020, more than some this country, and has no real plan for net zero. It destroys products it can't sell. It exploits its workers hugely, putting so much pressure on them that they have time toilet breaks and drivers have to pee in bottles, and they do all this to make profit and make their shareholders, and especially the infamous Jeff Bezos, rich, and make them dream about flying off to space and leaving the rest of us to burn on the planet they're destroying. So we're here to say no to that. Well, we're here. We're going to be here for 48 hours. We can, maybe a little longer. I can see the police are around, not doing much. Prime lorries over there, which have been waiting for us. They cleared another entrance into the lorry park over there. Quite creative, but so far our blocks seem working. No lorries coming in. Yeah.
What's the response been like from the workers and passers-by?
So when we first here and set up, it was cool, particularly one driver of HGV, quite and it's been regret. And you know, I understand, like, want to disrupt these lorry drivers. It disrupts their day, their time. From our research, they should be able to make back the money they'll lose from this system, but we know it is a big, and we don't do that, but we have to do that to draw attention to the crime Amazon is committing CO2 and the way it exploits workers on the planet, Fortunately, in order to make direct action, you have to create disruption, and yeah. But it's really important that we're here saying we grow infinitely on a finite planet.
Like the banner says, which have a lot. Yeah, it's
Have an economic system that is based on just endless growth, on this idea that this somehow makes us all happier, and this is a good thing. When actually, at least since the 70s in the US, like in economic growth is the rich, not the people who are not rich, not the 99%. It doesn't make people happier, and all this consumption is on the planet's on fire. We're in the midst of an ecological crisis, which we don't immediately act radically to solve and mitigate. We're facing the potential of human extinction in a matter of decades. I mean, even if not extinction, just horrendous. And it's just mad, and we can't just wait around and wait for that to happen. So yeah, we're gonna time this lovely bamboo structure.
Yes, very lovely. And on the other gate, which is just maybe someone just like past. This is a gate where somebody tried to block it. Just sat on the grass now with their things of what the security do if they are. And then the road is another beacon. 2 people on top here. We've got people locked in, and some not too lovely local people. Darlington came and off some vegan sausage rolls, which was a lovely treat. We've had quite positive conversations with people, the workers. Well, we've got a lot of get a job. We've got some beeps.
Locals, Darlington, passed by, heard about Blockade, came to say hello. They could support anything.
Yeah, and we only had one climate denial person who told us that if we believe in climate change, we should stop watching ITV, which was an interesting bit of advice that we got given there. I think
we believe in climate change, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
We also believe in justice and
possibly
even. And we don't believe in racialized actions like Amazon trash the planet and hurt people for profit.
Okay, welcome back to Peterborough, where we have shut down the fulfilment centre here, and I just want to introduce you to our 2 beautiful beacons, and maybe some of the rebels who are locked on underneath as well. So this is beacon number 1, and this beacon blocks access to the lorry park, where the lorries go in, and you can see that is where they go in and load up and take supplies out of the Amazon site. And I'll just walk you around to the other beacon. And this beacon is closing off the other side of the roundabout because this Amazon site has 3 entrances. So this stops any traffic from leaving the Amazon site. And we've left the rest of the site open to other businesses, but the police have actually closed the road off anyway. So everyone's in pretty good mood here at the moment. We have just had some people arrive with a PA system. We've been having some music, which has really cheered people up because it's very cold here, as we've been hearing from the other sites as well. And we also had a visit from a drone, which I was hoping to show you on the live stream. We're not sure whether it belongs to the police or to Amazon or somebody else. It's gone now. So I thought I would just speak to a couple of rebels who are here this morning about what this action means to them, why they're here. Hello. I just wondered if you could talk to the audience at home about why you're here and why this action is important to you.
Well, I'm here because I think that Amazon is sort of the pinnacle of the toxic, system of overconsumption that we've come to have now, and that is at the root of the destruction of the planet that's going on. So I think that it's really important for us to address this sort of wastefulness and overconsumption that's going on, and Amazon is one of the massive drivers of that. And also they evade their taxes, and they shouldn't be getting away with that. And also I'm just got these people who are really, really brave and standing there in the wind. Yeah, so I'm trying to support them.
And you've been talking to some of the workers as they've been leaving.
Yeah.
How have you found the reaction to be?
Mostly very positive, yes. I mean, obviously we didn't want to, we wanted to limit the impact on the workers as much as possible. It's not, none of this is their fault. So we've been letting them out and talking to them, and it's been very positive, because as we know, Amazon treats employees extremely badly. And I guess maybe they're glad that someone's drawing attention to that.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for talking to the audience at home. I'll see if I can talk to somebody who's locked on. Free to speak. So I'm just going to take you around to someone who's locked on to a biscuit. Are you happy to speak to the live stream audience at home?
Yeah, why not?
Maybe you could just explain what you've got your arm in there.
So this is what we call a biscuit. So it's your standard issue lock-on tube, made a lot more hench by the addition of all of this, which means that it keeps this beacon a lot more stable, and also makes it a lot harder for them to get either, well, them being the police, to get either those people there or us out of it.
Okay, and how's your arm doing? Are you cold? Is it uncomfortable?
It's a little bit chilly inside, but luckily at the moment it's all quite relaxed. Yeah, not too bad.
Okay, that's good to hear. Could you maybe tell the audience at home a little bit about what this action means to you?
Yes, so I'm here today because I really think that Amazon are responsible for a lot of destruction, and they get away with a lot. So as well as the massive sort of carbon impact, it's the exploitation of workers, the fact they don't pay tax, very much tax in the UK. I think that we can't continue to tolerate capitalist destruction of the planet, so that's why I'm here.
Okay. And what about the day, Black Friday, the significance of that? If anyone at home doesn't know about Black Friday and what that represents.
Yeah, I mean, the day itself is supposed to be a massive day for getting deals. It's imported from America. One of the really significant parts of that for me is it's the day after Thanksgiving, which is a celebration of colonization in America. So for me, it's two really, really significant, awful things, which is basically the genocide of indigenous people that Thanksgiving commemorates, and then immediately followed by the consumerism that is just basically the direct descendant of that same mindset.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. Thanks so much for talking to me and for what you're doing. To both of you, thank you. It doesn't look like the best thing to be doing on a cold morning in the wind, but you're doing it because that's what matters. So thank you. We've got. I just wanted to show you we've got a few cars coming in now. The police do seem to be letting some vehicles in. We did hear that because the developers next door, it's Taylor Wimpey, we did hear that they were letting in traffic to Taylor Wimpey, including deliveries, although not to any of the other businesses. So we're not sure what's going on there. There's another rebel who I was going to speak to, who might be able to tell you a little bit about what you can do if you're watching us at home and you're wondering what you can do. So I'll just see are you free to speak to the live stream audience? Oh no, got a mouthful. Okay. Well, I did have our well-being. Oh, you ready? Okay. I just wondered. You are live, yeah. Don't worry. Let's go away from the noise. I wondered if you could say a little bit about what people can do at home if they're not, if they're motivated, inspired by this, and they want to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, if you're motivated and inspired by this and you're able to, then try and get down to your nearest site. So we're here at the one in Peterborough, but there's ones all over the country right now, so get down and support physically if you're able to. If you're not able to, there's a lot that you can do. One thing you could do is post on social media about asking people to cancel their Amazon Prime membership. But more broadly, if you are inspired to get more involved with Extinction Rebellion, We have a new crowdfunder, an April 2022 crowdfunder. It's really important to be donating to the movement, ready for April 2022, sharing that crowdfunder. You can sign up for our newsletter, join your local group. There's always different ways of getting involved with Exiles that you don't involve you being on the streets right at this moment. So we definitely recommend doing that. But like I said, if you're able to get down to one of your closest sites today, because they would all really love your support.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks for talking to me. And I think that we're going to now head over to Dartford, so you can see what's going on there. But thanks for joining me in Peterborough.
Do you understand the impact that you have?
No, I don't think I understand a hypothetical situation.
Well, that situation, if you don't move, may
the
become
big global context of climate and ecological catastrophe.
Okay, so what I'm saying to you is that if you don't move, you will be arrested for aggravated trespass, and the hypothetical situation, as you put it, may well come into reality. Okay, so based on that, will you now move?
How do you feel about climate and ecological?
You're being here and instructing.
Just talking about the bigger context.
Is there anything that I can reasonably say or do to get you to move?
If I could have a phone call with Mr. Bezos.
Okay. Is there something reasonably that I can do right now? Oh, okay. So, based on that, times 9:50.
Hello, and we're back in Bristol on the other gate, South Gate. This is the entrance where the Amazon delivery trucks come in. And we've got blue sunny skies here now. Yes, very much deserved by these guys who've put in really solid stint through the rain in their lock-ons and in their towers on both sides. And yeah, the day seems to be going quite well, doesn't it? Not just here, but all around the country. It feels pretty awesome to be a part of something like this wide scale. I think everyone feels that. Let's go and speak to some of the people. Who wants to talk to the world? Yeah, come on, speak to people about why you're doing this today.
Oh, well, it's a no-brainer really, because we know we're in a climate crisis. What we do now is really crucial, and we've got companies like Amazon on Black Friday, among other companies, you know, encouraging consumers to keep buying and buying and buying away a load of stuff. They just lure people into this kind of consumer mentalness at a time when we should be reducing our growth. Their CO2 emissions are massive, like 60 million tons a year, metric tons a year, increasing at 19% a year. They have dreadful practices, and they bullshit and greenwash all the time. Oh yeah, we're going to be zero carbon emissions by 2040. When in fact there's no way that looks like it's happening when their emissions are getting worse while they're investing in fossil fuels. Their web services support Shell and Exxon. They've got dreadful practices with their employees, and Mr. Jeff is living off, the riches of gullible people. He's basically, the country.
How is it that they manage to do this? How do they get people to go along with it? What do you think it is?
Well, it's media, it's advertising. We've been brainwashed. Our culture has been brainwashed for a long time. It's kind of like the anesthetic of the people, isn't it? To have stuff.
Yeah.
So they bombard us with, you can press a button and you can have something and it will make you feel better.
I think advertising is really key, isn't it?
Advertising is really
like
key.
we don't realise how much effect it has on us.
No.
But when you actually, if you ever spend any time like away from adverts, it's amazing, like what effect that has on people mentally. I read a really good book on it, but it's been going on for centuries. It started with tobacco industry. So the products may be less completely, things aren't completely fake anymore. But do you really need these things that you're buying on Black Friday? A lot of it is targeted advertising, algorithms that is designed to make you want, and it's more than we need. I think with Amazon, there's something to be said about at the moment the way that the government is being criticised for the way that we know the way that they take all these second jobs is wrong, but it's legal. And with Amazon, what they do is so wrong, but it's legal. And that doesn't mean that what they do is okay. It just shows that the problem doesn't stop with Amazon or the consumers. The problem at the end of the day is the whole entire system. And until we dismantle that, companies like Amazon are going to keep ripping us off, destroying our planet. And yeah, there's only one way to stop it. It's to rebel. It's to do this. It's to join Extinction Rebellion. It's to boycott, and it is to take strike action if you're in Labour. Yeah, it'd be amazing if the employees of Amazon could join us in resistance against this. I know it's difficult in the UK, but hopefully that's a movement that could build over time. Nothing is going to be won in a day, and today we're making such a big impact on one day, but nothing is done in a day, and there's so much more work to do. We're going to hold Amazon to account. Going to pass on to the next site.
Okay, hello, welcome back. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of talk a little bit about what we're doing here and why we're here.
That's the microphone.
Yep.
Hello. Have a very close up of my face. We're here in Dunfermline in Scotland, which is the biggest Amazon distribution site in the UK. Like everyone else, we've been here since 4 AM and the sun is out. We have good tunes. We've had some really nice interactions with the workers who've all been walking in down this road that you see here. Yeah, and just heard some really interesting things from them about what it's like on the inside, what the kind of chat has been like in response to this. Obviously a few people who aren't super keen, but in general, like a solid 80% good, like 15% neutral, 5% not super keen. Lots of people honking as they go past on the road and waving. Yeah, it's been really good. People are feeling high-spirited, I think. All of the lock-ons seem pretty chirpy. Had a little nap earlier. Yeah, if you want to know why we're here, that's exactly the same as everyone else, really. We're in solidarity with Make Amazon Pay, trying to amplify their message, and also, yeah, just highlight to everyone that it's exactly the same exploitation and sacrificing literally everything on the altar of profit that Amazon embodies so well. That is the same reason we're in the climate crisis. Yeah, just thinking that the rich getting richer is the only thing that matters. Planet doesn't matter, people don't matter, workers don't matter, and the only way that we can get around all of this or start working against all of this is to care about justice for everyone, not just for us here and now, but for the whole planet. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, so we can do like a little walkthrough and then we'll pass it on. All right, yeah, thank you, and we'll pass it on to whoever's next.
Are we wrapping up after? Hello there and welcome back to Tilbury, where we are joined by the activists at the south side this time, who are locked on to their little biscuits. And obviously we saw one of the other sites, the police were moving in, and yeah, love the responses from activists. But if you have just joined us and you're wondering why we're here doing this, there's 13 sites across the UK, one in the Netherlands, one in Germany, and we're essentially just here to tell the truth. We think the public have a right to know about the crimes that Amazon are committing, the damage they're doing to people, their own employees, us as citizens of Earth, and the very ecosystems and life support systems that are on the brink right now and ultimately are keeping us alive. So the company actually emits 60.4 million tons of CO2 that was in last year, so in 2020. That's the equivalent of 140 million barrels of oil, which is a medium-sized country, something like Denmark. They are actually growing at 19% per year, and their carbon footprint has been rising since 2018. But they actually didn't want to, talk about climate change or make any net zero aspirations, and it was actually the employees that forced them to do so, and they have now pledged 2040 net zero. But like every other company or government, this is just a greenwash, and it doesn't take into account the 75% of emissions that come from their supply chain. And of course, as we know, 2040 is far too late, when Sir David King, the former chief scientific advisor, says what we do in the next 3 or 4 years will determine the fate of humanity. Amazon also has a web-based service which it helps like Shell, Exxon and BP continue to drill for oil, when we have 5 times the amount of oil in existing wells already than we could even use to stay within our carbon budget, and the so-called safe zone, which is just imposed on indigenous people who are suffering most right now. Their whole land and identity has been destroyed for a long time as a result of this global economy, this carbon economy, which the businesses are just doing exactly as they're designed to do, to value profit above all else, and change is possible. Another world is possible. It's also worth noting that Amazon workers, they're said to treat their workers like robots, with ambulances called to UK warehouses 600 times between 2015 and 2018. The company even threatened to fire employees in the US for speaking out about its climate impact. There's routinely millions of returned items to Amazon, which are just incinerated. That includes TVs, laptops, and they're just thrown in the bin, completely expendable. As far as they see it, there's no value unless it's making them money. And of course, the governments are subsidising this huge monopoly by allowing them to essentially keep billions of pounds in offshore tax havens. So the people of the independent states that use Amazon are not actually benefiting from that tax either. It's a symbol of a huge injustice that we're witnessing in this critical moment from these huge globalized companies. I'm just going to go around and speak to before we wrap up. And if you have joined us, thanks so much for tuning in so far. Please make sure this
Someone on that foot, please. Yes, like, look, I'm a boy now, right? You hear that? Yeah. Run
down. This is coming from Darlington.
Hi, my name is Rob. We're here in Dartford, blocking the Amazon warehouse. You can see the beautiful blockade behind us, and that it's caused the disruption. Just to be clear, we're not here to disrupt Amazon workers. We are sorry for those who are disrupted, but it's really important on this day, Black Friday, that we send this message. It's got to stop.
Sorry about that, we was just had a slight technical issue there. We were showing you a few of the pre-recorded images that we had from earlier. So yeah, we are back in. We're just gonna have a quick chat with this gentleman down here who is locked onto a biscuit, I believe. So can you tell me why you're here? What inspired you to take this action today?
We're here because Amazon is sacrificing our planet and people right now and future generations. Just Amazon as one company has a carbon footprint about the size of the whole of Denmark, and Amazon epitomizes this frenzy of consumption and greed in their billionaire owner Jeff Bezos, who just embodies the 1%, just extracting and exploiting to, like, why does the richest man in the world need any more money when we're in a climate emergency? And it's an emergency caused by the 1%, caused by the richest. Something like the richest 1% emit 100 times more carbon than the poorest 10%. But who are the people that suffer from that? It's definitely not Jeff Bezos blasting off to Mars, where he's trying to save his business model by the billionaire space race rather than addressing the emergency that we're left to face here.
Absolutely, thank you. And we heard earlier that Jeff Bezos, he's basically insulted everyone on this planet by pledging $10 billion, not to any grassroots organisations or anyone that are making any significant change, but actually pledged $10 billion to NGOs that would support the profiteering of his company. And he actually made $10 billion in one single day in the peak of the pandemic, when 6,500 people died here in the UK. Like, what can you say to that? Is this your first action, and how does it make you feel?
I mean, to be honest, I've done lots of actions like this before, because that's exactly what we need to be doing. Like we're on course for 2.7 degrees warming in the lifetime of children being born today. That is bringing us to the brink of an unsurvivable planet. So this is the bare minimum we can be doing. We won't have a future without confronting the billionaire class, who are essentially killing people today and holding up all of our futures to ransom so they can profit themselves.
Yeah, and you know, for people at home, you know, they feel like, you know, it's all too much to handle. You know, it's all so doom, gloom, and despair. We hear a lot, but the reality is, you know, another political economy is possible. You know, we can have other measures that instead of just GDP and endless profit on a planet with finite resources, we could have measures which gauge the country's success in terms of health and well-being. So action on climate and being brave and courageous and using our democratic right to protest can actually create the change which benefits all of us.
Well, we need degrowth. Like, we've got a banner over there saying infinite growth, finite planet. That says it all.
Yeah.
Like, we just have to look at nature. The only thing that doesn't mature and never stops growing is cancer. And this is what that economic system is.
Right.
It's cancer, and it's going to consume us and kill us unless we stop it.
Thank you for taking the action today. So nice to speak to you, and yeah, absolutely right. As we heard there, COP26, the climate conference, which has just failed. It was rigged to fail over in Glasgow. The primary reason for that is because they cannot address the issue of the economic systems, which are entirely reliant on on endless growth on a planet with finite resources. We've got a little dog that's just joined the activists here for a bit of well-being and support. Was quite welcome. So yeah, that's it from us over in Tilbury. Here we've been trying to occupy these multiple sites across the UK, until Sunday morning, and hopefully that sends a strong message to Amazon and enables people to think differently about what is possible in this critical moment when radical change is absolutely essential. And we could tax the super rich. There's all sorts of wonderful things we can do which work for the people, but we need the people out using their democratic right to protest, joining environmental movements or unions, and really getting involved in this. So thanks so much for joining us and watching this. If you have any questions, do send us a message on our various social media channels, and if you feel inspired to get involved, everyone is welcome. So please do reach out to your local group, and our next rebellion is in April now in 2022, and we'll need everyone out on the streets demanding the change which is better for us, our futures, and our very home. So thanks for joining us. We're back again later at 4 PM if you're around for an update. So please do tune back in for an update at 4 PM today. Thank you.
Someone on that foot, please. Yes, right. I'm at Molly now, right? You hear that? Yeah. Run down.
This is coming from Darlington.
Hi, my name is Rob. We're here in Dartford, blocking the Amazon warehouse. You can see the beautiful blockade behind us, and that it's caused the disruption. Just to be clear, we're not here to disrupt Amazon workers. We are sorry for those who are disrupted, but it's really important on this day, Black Friday, that we send this message. It's got to stop.
So you have been music to
We're here outside the Amazon distribution centre in Peterborough. I'm at the base of one of our beacons, which is disrupting Amazon Prime deliveries today on Black Friday, one of their busiest days. I'm here because Amazon is responsible for a huge amount of planetary destruction. Consumerism is destroying our planet, and Amazon have a massive role to play in that. They're exploitative, and yeah, I want to shut that down.
Very good morning. Here we are in Tilbury, Essex, at one of the biggest Amazon distribution fulfilment centres in the UK, the second biggest in Europe. And here we have Daisy, who's going to tell us exactly why we're here.
We're here today on Black Friday to call attention to one of the world's largest companies and its exploitative and environmentally destructive business practices. Amazon is well known for a long list of crimes that have made its founder and largest shareholder, Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world. COP26 has recently just come and passed and failed, as we knew it would, because it failed to address the wider economic system that is built on, mining this country's resources for infinite financial growth. You can't have infinite growth on a planet of finite resources. It's impossible. So we're here today to call attention to Amazon and other companies like it as an example of this wider economic system that has to be stopped.
So we're here outside the Tilbury Fulfilment Centre, Amazon's largest fulfilment centre in the UK. As we speak, there are rebels blockading the following sites: Doncaster, Darlington, Newcastle, Manchester, Peterborough, Derby, Coventry, Rugeley, Dartford, Bristol, Milton Keynes, and all the way up in Dunfermline. That is 13 of the biggest fulfilment centres in the UK being blockaded right now on Black Friday, the biggest day of the year, for that man, Jeff Bezos, to make billions of quid selling stuff and exploiting his workers, doing long shifts, not being able to sit down, not being able to listen to music. That's how he makes his money. That's how he makes his money. And today we're going to stand up and say, that's enough, Bezos, that is enough. Enough of your rocketing off on your ship. Enough of your billions of pounds, enough of your exploitation. It's time to change that. It's time to stand up and make sure that ordinary people can have a decent job and a decent life on a planet that isn't on fire. That is why we're here.
The COP process has failed. After nearly 30 years, negotiations between nations have been unable and unwilling to deliver an adequate plan to keep global warming below 1.5 degrees. In fact, we are headed for much worse. The future of life on Earth hangs in the balance. We have lost so much already. And with the warming that is already locked in, further humanitarian impacts are now inevitable. There is still so much we can save, but the truth is, There are no easy options left. We are in an unprecedented situation, one that our political system both created and is unable to deal with. We need a political system that isn't beholden to short-term thinking or corrupted by fossil fuel interests. One that's inclusive and fair, not divided by tribalism, but able to bring the country together. To do this, we must put ordinary citizens at the heart of our democracy, to make the tough decisions that our government is unable or unwilling to make, and to do so free from the corruption of Westminster. This is the vision that Extinction Rebellion was founded on. As the abolitionist Frederick Douglass said, "Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will." History has shown us that time and time again, one method has consistently been able to deliver meaningful societal change. When millions of people come together to demand change, governments have no choice but to act. This is what's needed now. Let's do what works: prolonged, disruptive, non-violent civil resistance. That's why in 2022, Extinction Rebellion is planning to create the largest act of civil resistance in UK history. But we need your help. Whoever you are, there's a role waiting for you. Everyone is welcome and everyone is needed. Change is not going to come from inside conference rooms, but from ordinary people like you and me. See you on the streets.